The power to speak your mind, ask daring questions, contribute to the discussions, provide analysis, and demand for the truth. To be a part of our show, subscribe to our YouTube channel at HIA Nigeria, that is at HIYA Nigeria. And follow us on all our social media platforms at HIA Nigeria, that is at HIYA Nigeria. Have your say. We want to hear from you. Your opinion matters. Have your say. We want to hear from you. Your opinion matters. Have your say. We want to hear from you. Your opinion matters. Micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, have a significant role in any economy. They're the backbone of major developed economies, as well as important contributors to employment, economic, and export growth. They're also responsible for driving innovation and competition in many economic sectors. According to the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Nigeria has over 37.07 million micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, and they account for more than 84% of total jobs in the country. The ministry also claimed that the MSME
We are tired of this, our government too.
See, we don't even know what is happening at all. Everything is just black. I want to know what is happening. Do you want to know what your government is doing?
Yeah!
Are you curious and want to know about programs, events, and activities being organized by your leaders?
Yeah!
Do you believe that your voice should be heard?
Yeah!
Then look no further. Have Your Say is the foremost interactive program that provides the missing link between citizens and the executive of the legislative arms of government, heads of parastatals, ministries, departments, and agencies. This show gives you the power to speak your mind, ask daring questions, contribute to the discussions, provide analysis, and demand for the truth. To be a part of our show, subscribe to our YouTube channel at HIA Nigeria, that is at HIYA Nigeria. And follow us on all our social media platforms at HIA Nigeria, that is at HIYA Nigeria. Have your say. We want to hear from you. Your opinion matters. Nigeria has a vast majority of her population dwelling in rural areas, with about 70% of Nigerians dwelling in such areas. The rural sector of Nigeria has yet to witness significant level of development. This is evidenced in the apparent lack of basic infrastructural facilities in these areas.
This situation is dire as the various measures or programs that have been put in place to enhance the development of rural sectors have dysfunctional development policies. Even the functional developed policies or programs to enhance the realization of the development of the rural sector are either postponed or done with little candor. The rural sector is very vital in the social economic development equation of the nation. The rural areas, for instance, is the major source of capital formation for the country and a principal market for domestic manufacturers. Given the importance attached to the rural sector of the national economy, enhancing the development of the sector should be central to government and public administrations, and for which the sector would witness tremendous level of infrastructural development. This would further enhance the ability of the sector for further contribution to the overall national growth and development. Unfortunately, over the years, the development strategies and efforts in Nigeria has been more urban-based. The Nigerian rural areas are neglected areas, even though social amenities are also not adequate in some urban areas. The situation in the rural areas is far worse, and many communities lack basic amenities like good roads, markets, electricity, pipes, boreholes. It is evident that the government will need to devote more time in developing an effective implementation of rural development policies and programs, charging political representatives from the various rural areas of the country to be involved in articulatory relevant rural development programs for their constituencies and following up to ensure effective implementation. Speaking to us today on rural infrastructural development, majoring on rural community projects, roads, electricity and housing is Dr. Adamu Shuaibu. He is the General Manager, FCT, for Community and Social Development Projects, CSDP.
The General Manager of Community and Social Development Project of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I'll be discussing with you today on CSDP, but I will incline myself to my area of jurisdictions, that is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Before I go forward to do that, I just want to tell you that CSDP, as it connotes, is Community and Social Development Project. And it is one of the safety net projects of the federal government of Nigeria. And the project is meant to provide socio-economic and natural resources to the rural poor of Nigeria. The project is co-financed by the federal government and the states and the World Bank. The project is structured in a way that we have the National Coordinating Office, which we call the Federal Project Support Unit, located in Abuja. And the World Bank supervised and looked and coordinates all the activities of the project. States that are interested used to key in. Currently, 30 states and FCT are on the project. The project actually came from the previous CRPP and LIEM. That is the Community-Based Poverty Reduction Project and Local Empowerment and Environmental Project Management Project. The two projects were collapsed, and in 2009, the concept of CSDP came up, and that was the beginning of the first financing to the end of 2013. From there, the additional financing commenced again from 2016, and it was expected to end by the end of June 2020. However, because of the lockdown as a result of the COVID-19, we have been given additional 3 months to the end of September to finish off the activities before we go into another thing. So the project has been doing well across the 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory. We have our national coordinator, Dr. Karim Obaje, who has been doing very, very well to coordinate the activities of the states. A lot of projects have been, carried out in the various states. And the project is is structured in the way that the community or the groups that assess the intervention are on the driver's seats. They, assess the services and implement, monitor, and use it at the end of the day. However, the projects are only supervises and make sure that such services are properly utilized by the rural poor communities and the groups. The major areas, or the areas we have the coordination, that is the main area. We have this coordination. We have the empowerment of the local government and the state ministries. And we have the community development investment and also the vulnerable group investment. That is how the project is structured. Now, I will not be talking too much about the national CSDP. With this simple introduction, I think we'll be able to know what CSDP is all about. It's about provision of social infrastructures and natural resources to the rural poor. And the rural poor handle all the activities after being trained by the various states. States can key in after fulfilling some obligations. And one of those is having a law established by the state assembly, establishing that agency, minimum of 50 million, recruitment of the staff that will handle the project in the states. They should also have accommodation, and that is the office. After that, I think the states should be able, she's good to go. The remaining 7 states have not keyed in, but they have projects similar to CSDP. But 2 states are almost close joining CSDP, Kaduna State and Sokoto State. And the states that are not in CSDP currently are Jigawa, Kano, Delta, Rivers, and Lagos. But Sokoto and Kaduna states are not yet there, but they are already on the process to join the 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory. So for now, that's just what I can say briefly about the CSDP nationally. I will talk more about my area of jurisdiction, that is the Federal Capital Territory. The Federal Capital Territory joined CSDP in 2013. Federal Capital Territory is a peculiar place as compared to the states. In the first financing, the project just spent about 6 months. That is from 1st July to the end of 2013. Nothing was much realized. Very few projects were done. That time, I was not even on board. I was in another project. However, as the additional financing commenced in 2016, FCT also joined leads. We became disbursement effective at the beginning of April 2017. The problem was, after the first financing, before the additional financing commenced, some of the staff left, including the general manager. The MEM died then, that's monitoring evaluation manager died. The head of admin left. Some operational officers was not there. Also, the procurement officer was not there. So there was not complete complement of staff to start the project until advertisement was made for us to apply, which we did toward the end of 2016. By January, we had the interview. At the end of March, the result was out, and at the beginning of April, we commenced activities. That's about FCT. And I was the luckiest person to become the general manager among my other 27 competitors. When we started in April 2017, there was no poverty map of FCT in place. And because CSDP is poverty focused, we were supposed to provide that as a condition in the additional financing of CSDP. We had to tell the government administration of FCT. In 3 months, we were able to have the FCT poverty map, and that's when we kickstarted our activities. The World Bank approved 5 area councils out of 6. AMAC was considered a better area council in terms of poverty, so we concentrated in Abaji, Kwali, Kuje, Bwari, and Gwagwalada area councils. But AMAC joined us in 2019 because we have a lot of rural areas in AMAC. And to have a uniform development of rural areas in FCT, we had to carry AMAC along. And that is how the World Bank approved the request of FCT administration for AMAC to be included. And that's how we're working currently in FCT. We're covering everywhere. We are covering areas like in the following sectors: education, health, water, roads and culverts, drainages, electricity, socio-economic and natural resources. All these ones, the communities can apply, and we can also intervene in those areas. How does CSDP work? When we commence activities, we had to go around to sensitize FCT communities. We started with the area councils, chairmen, with their legislators. We went to the communities' traditional rulers to tell them about the CSDP. Because the first participation in the first financing was a very short time, many people couldn't get the message very well. So in the additional financing, when we came, we had to start vigorous activities to make sure that our message got to the rural areas to come and assess the facilities available in the community and social development project of FCT. This we did. We had our training from the World Bank, and people, started indicating interest. After all those awareness creation in the area council, communities and groups are usually expected to express interest that they want our intervention, and that is how it is being done. So when the community or what Eloma, okay, yeah.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Please, my name is Kevin, a co-founder in Legacy Development Initiative.
Okay, please speak out so that I can hear very well, sir.
Okay, yeah, I say my name is Kevin.
Okay.
I'm a co-founder in Legacy Development Initiative. It's an NGO.
Okay.
That focuses on developing.
Where are you calling from?
Sorry, I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay, thank you. From where in Abuja? The town or the area council? Anyway. Okay, go ahead with your question. Hello? Okay. I've lost him. Please, you can call back. So, the community or the vulnerable group, they have to apply to the FCT. And when they apply, we have to go to the community. And we have to sensitize them. After sensitizing, the whole community have to come out. And when they come out, we aggregate them as elders, youth, men, women. And if possible, the vulnerable group, if they are there, they have also their say. They are the people to actually to identify their priority projects. They know their felt needs. So, when they apply, we sensitize them, and we conduct what we call participatory rural appraisal. That is the PRA. And during the PRA, we sit with the community, as you can see, or if it's a vulnerable group, they will also come out and we aggregate them. We discuss with them, and that is where they'll be able to bring out their problems. And at the end of the day, they have to do election. All the groups will do election. The project that has the highest vote is considered as the priority project of that community or the group, followed by the next one, and that is how. And one issue that people also would want to know is we only spend up to 10 million in a community or a group. And that 10 million, if it's a community, the community has to provide 10% of the total project of they have identified. And if it's a group, a vulnerable group, they will contribute 5%. So if a project, for instance, costs 9.5 million in a community, the community has to contribute 950,000 when the FCT CSDP contributes the remaining 90%. The community, after conducting the PRA, the community will go to the area council. The area council in FCT, and if it is in the state, is the local government. There's already a committee in the area council. We call them Area Council Review Committee. And that also has to be established by a bylaw of the area council, which all the area councils have done. So that committee is headed by the head of administration. And the community development officer is the secretary of that committee. And the various head of department, the traditional ruler, the youth leader, one of the political parties, the youth leader, all are members of that committee. So they will sit, and the community will be given a form from us, from A, where they will fill all the information, and they'll bring it to the area council. And that committee will now look at the project identified by the community. At the end of the day, that committee will recommend such projects to CSDP office. And that project must be in line with the development plan of the area council. And if it is not, we don't fund that kind of project. So they will tell us such project is in line with the development plan of the area council. And from there, it is now receiving some attention from the states. And they will also write a commitment letter that when such project is executed by the group or the community, the area council is committed for so and so. For example, if a community says it needs a health center, and the health center cannot just be built without staffing. So the area council will have a commitment letter that if such infrastructure is constructed, the area council will provide staff, will provide that and that. and before that project is eligible for funding by CSDP. And also, for example, if it's a school that they need more classes because of overcrowding, yes, the CSDP can fund that project, but also the area council will write that commitment that they will post more teachers. And that is why the area council is very, very vital. And in the state, it's the local government. And it is also designed in a way that at the end of the day, if such projects is going to be constructed, the area council will supervise. And at CSDP project, we monitor to make sure that such project is going the way it was designed. So after meeting this criteria, from expression of interest of the community or the vulnerable group, as our sensitization and participating rural appraiser, which is PRA, conducted, filling all other forms, the area council review committee approving such project, they will now send to us. And it is also the committee that will cost their projects. After costing, they will send all those things to us. Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, who is on the line? Who is on the line?
Hello?
Hello? Good morning.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning. This is Emeka calling from Gwarimpa.
Okay, you're welcome. What?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a nice topic we are discussing today because this affects greatly the Federal Capital Territory.
Yeah.
And particularly our rural areas.
Yes.
I want to say unequivocally that the issues of rural infrastructural development in the FCT is more of a farce or a fallacy.
Yeah.
This is because most rural areas and satellite zones in this FCT
Yes.
have been kept backwards in terms of development because of inadequate or total lack of adequate infrastructure to meet the common needs of man.
Yeah.
Now, Nigeria has been practicing democratic system for the past 21 years.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, what is the current blueprint of programs that are on ground and being followed appropriately for infrastructural development in the rural areas? Because the extent of abandonment of these areas is affecting the economy of the FCT.
Yeah.
There are very much productive rural areas in the FCT.
Yes.
That are in adequate agricultural production, but they lack the capacity to move their goods in and out of those areas because of bad roads. There are dormant job systems in the informal sector in the FCT because of poor electricity. And we can't continue like this.
Yes.
What is the blueprint of strategies or policy framework that the government and all concerned stakeholders are using to bring the rural areas out of this misery into appropriate channel of development?
Okay. Thank you. To respond to that one, that is more actually of a policy question. And I can authoritatively say that I will not actually delve into that area. Ours is a project, an intervention project. And we are, doing our little way to complement the effort. Yeah, sir. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, hello?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Olofela Tukolari. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been listening to your case when I was invited for this. And I want to complain about something about the rural area in Africa, Ayawa in Lagos. There was a time we applied to this ecological research, and we are committed to ecology. We are trying to capture what up to now, since 2017 or 2018 rather, nothing has been done yet. So, sir, I don't really know how to go about it. With the member of the committee, within the community, we have been working on how to see, because there's a lot of villages have affected a lot of community around that area.
Which area?
All the roads are not clear.
Which area?
The Saja Ayabo in Lagos.
Okay, in Lagos. Lagos is not participating in CSDP.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned earlier before I came to specific about FCT. I mentioned 7 states that are not participating in CSDP. Lagos, Rivers, Delta, Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, and Sokoto. However, Sokoto and Kaduna, they are already on their way to join us. So I cannot talk much about Lagos.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have referred you to our office in the particular state.
Okay, you can do that, sir.
But yes, unless it's another state, Lagos is not participating in CSDP. They could have other rural development progress from the World Bank or from other donor agencies. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Lagos, we can't do anything from Lagos because the Lagos state is the government that's supposed to indicate interest that it wanted to participate in CSDP. We'll be happy to receive them to join. Ogun State joined us last year, and I think they are doing pretty well. I think Ogun State is the last state that has been, Ogun State, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, after all the commitment from the area council, costing their projects, identify projects, and such, we don't do less than 2 projects in a community. And we cannot spend more than 10 million. Okay, hello? Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. My name is Abdullahi Kabur.
Okay, from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kuje.
Okay.
Yes. The question I want to ask you, from your introduction, you said you cater for people, vulnerable people.
Yes.
And this COVID is affecting some of these vulnerable people.
Yeah.
What are you doing as your agency to help vulnerable people? Or are you doing any partnership for this COVID? So
yes. We are now in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. CSDP in the FCT, we participated actively when the ministry was doing their homegrown feeding and distribution of palliative. And in FCT, CSDP, we have 34 vulnerable groups that we have, intervened. And in Kuje in Kuje town, we have Al-Ansar home. They don't call them orphanage now. They call them a home. We have charity home also in Kuje. We have widows in Chikuku and a host of other vulnerable groups that have indicated interest for our intervention. And we have done a lot there. I've just given you some specifics in Kuje. And what we have done during this COVID, ours is actually provision of social infrastructures. We don't give money for other activities. But what we have done is we have done our part by going on sensitization about the COVID-19. And the little we could do, because our budgets are tailored towards specific activities, we were able to buy the face masks, hand sanitizers, whichever group we are going to sensitize. And there's also a program, they call it psychosocial support, which we have been going, especially the widows, people who are traumatized and others. We go on counseling. So we used to go on sensitization on the COVID-19 and psychosocial support to such people. Yes, I'm still going to discuss that one. So this is what we have done to the vulnerable group. If any vulnerable, the project is actually ending. So until the next project, which we are anticipating that is coming up in October, which is called CARES, we have not gotten the clear cut. That is when we may be, okay, it's all right. So, okay, it's all right. Yeah, hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma.
My name is Stella Bulus.
Stella David?
Stella Bulus.
Okay, Stella Bulus.
Yes, sir. I'm
Yeah.
calling from Amas.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I want to find out from you what the assessment is of the response by the communities in assessing these opportunities that CSDP has provided.
What? What
is your assessment of the response by the communities? The communities you are trying to reach out to.
Okay.
As the general manager, what is the response from the communities? Is it very good?
Yes. From the beginning, when we started, it was very slow. But currently, that is my major challenge, how to meet up with the demand of the community and the vulnerable groups. Because I currently have over 300 expression of interest from the communities and vulnerable groups when they saw our projects springing out in various communities and groups. So the response now is too tremendous in the FCT. And that is, in consonant with the question from Gwarimpa, describing the horrible situation in the rural areas of the Federal Capital Territory. So as I was responding to his question, I said, the blueprint about the rural development in the FCT or thereabout, that is actually the administrative question that I cannot answer. But from the CSDP perspective, we are doing our best to see how we intervene in the rural areas. And I can tell the caller authoritatively that we have intervened in over 100 villages in the past 3 years in FCT, ranging from schools, roads, culverts, mini bridges, and the rest of them. In fact, water has the highest percentage that we have really in the FCT. If you go to some rural area communities, actually it's an eyesore. Sometimes I shed tears when I see what is happening. When somebody, after getting even a hand hole or a motorized hole, you will see them, in a jocular mood, fetching water. They will tell you that, we are not drinking pipe water. It is something that is so searching. You just need to be there. So the man can always meet us in our office at Otako, Old Arab Contractor Sites. That is the Department of Science and Technology premises. That is where we are hosts. We are sharing the offices of the Department of Science and Technology of FCT at Otako. So that you can, if you have anything to add to us, any other questions you want to know, we have. And also, one thing I want to tell my listener is that we are on GIS. We can be monitored what we are doing. You can collect our link from our office, and you can always look at some of those communities or the projects we have intervened in the various communities and groups to be available. So I think the man from Garumpa, I cannot tell you the blueprint here. That is purely, maybe you go to the minister's office and get that information. But ours, the minister has signed this loan since 2016 to be able to contribute our own quota in the development of rural areas in the FCT. The CSDP structure, after getting the commitment letter from the area council, and the cost of the project from the committee as was identified during the prospective rural appraisal, it now comes to our table. And during the prospective rural appraisal, the community also elects officials who will handle the projects in their community. They have their chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, financial, and the rest of them. And also have some other subcommittees. And some of those committees, some of them are monetary evaluation, sustainability, and okay, hello? 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 Good afternoon, sir. Hello? Okay, I've lost him. So we have the sustainability people, we have conflict resolution committees, procurement committees, all are the rural communities who will handle their project. So when they bring such requests from the area council, the FCT office now will look at the mandate secretariat, department, or agency. For instance, if it is water, we'll go to water board. We have desk officers in all the secretariat, agencies, and departments. So we go to water board, and the water board man will go with our staff for field appraiser. They will go there and see what the community have identified as their project. And from there, they will look at the costs the community have costed, the project, and the site of that project. And that's why they'll provide professional advice. And the report of such field appraiser is what the project will now work to approve such project. And from there, we have the called Management Technical Review Committee, MTRC, headed by the general manager, myself, the management, and the project officer admin, who is the secretary. From there, we'll review the submission of such community or the group. After meeting all these conditions, we now approve. After approving the project, we look at the total costs of maybe 1, 2, or 3 projects, which will not exceed 10 million. And from there, we convey approval to such group or community. After that, we organize a minimum of 2 days training for the officials of such group or community. And at that training, the community officials will be, informed about the activities of how to carry out such projects. After that, the committee is set to assess our funds. And we don't give money at once. We give money in tranches, 3 tranches precisely. And if the community does not have the capacity to carry out their project, they can advertise, and bidders will go, and bid opening will be done. At the end of the day, the contractor that wins the contracts, they will sign an agreement with the community. So as we give money to the community, they know the arrangement they do with the contractor. From there, they will also be paying the contractor their money. So because of all these things, you can see that there are a lot of empowerment activities, there are a lot of trainings and all that. So the community or the group cannot say they don't know what they are doing. Like me as the general manager, I have my slogan. I tell community or groups that there's no sorry in the project of CSDP, because we would have given you everything you need to execute your project. And in the course of execution of the project, for instance, if a community wants to build a classroom and they don't have the capacity that will handle the building, if they contract it, what we'll do in FCT, when they have gotten to the stage of assessing the fund, we will release 50% of the total cost of that project. And from there, after spending the whole money, they will retire the money. And when they apply for the next tranche, the monitoring team will go to that project to make sure that money spent on that project actually got to the milestone. And if there's anything, we will not give the second. They will have to answer questions. And before we release fund, the 10% of that project that is meant to be contributed by the community must have been in their own account, because they will register as an association with the area council, and they'll use that certificate to open an account. And it is through that account that we send money. So when they bring their statement of accounts and they have been able to have the 10%, then they are good to go. So we don't send our money until we see the statement of our current statement of account that they have their own 10%. Then we start funding. So as they spend the money, they retire, we give the next tranche. And if there's any problem, they have to answer. So that is how we've been going. And in a group, it's usually 5%. We use also NGO, especially in the vulnerable groups. They used to, assist them in carrying out some activities. And such NGOs, we have trained our 11 in FCT who are assisting the vulnerable groups. So sometimes they will not be able to come to our office. Such NGOs can always be there between the office and the group. And such NGOs too must be known by the area council, because there are so many NGOs now who are out to make money. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. All right. So NGOs will be able to assist, and such NGOs must also be registered with the area council, so that we don't have fake NGOs that instead of assisting, they will instead destroy the process. So, and that is how, so far, the way and the procedure of CSDP activities are in brief. In FCT, we have been religiously following this order. When we started in the FCT, we started very slowly, because to convince people to pay 10% for their own project was a problem. But when those who were bold to start, others now saw. That is how now, people started rushing. Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, we are now going on break. I will continue after the break. Thank you.
Nigeria has a vast majority of her population. This is evidence in the apparent lack of basic infrastructural facilities in these areas. This situation is dire as the various measures or programs that have been put in place to enhance the development of rural sectors have dysfunctional development policies. Even the functional developed policies or programs to enhance the realization of the development of the rural sector are either postponed or done with little candor. The rural sector is very vital in the social economic development equation of the nation. The rural areas, for instance, is the major source of capital formation for the country and a principal market for domestic manufacturers. Given the importance attached to the rural sector of the national economy, Enhancing the development of the sector should be central to government and public administrations, and for which the sector would witness tremendous level of infrastructural development. This would further enhance the ability of the sector for further contribution to the overall national growth and development. Unfortunately, over the years, the development strategies and efforts in Nigeria has been more urban-based. The Nigerian rural areas are neglected areas, even though social amenities are also not adequate in some urban areas. The situation in the rural areas is far worse, and many communities lack basic amenities like good roads, markets, electricity, pipes, boreholes. It is evident that the government will need to devote more time in developing an effective implementation of rural development policies and programs, charging political representatives from the various rural areas of the country to be involved in articulatory relevant rural development programs for their constituencies and following up to ensure effective implementation. Speaking to us today on rural infrastructural development, majoring on rural community projects, roads, electricity and housing is Dr. Adamu Shuaibu. He is the General Manager, FCT, for Community and Social Development.
Welcome back. We are back again to continue from where we stopped after the break. So, in FCT, I just want to give you a rundown of some of these activities we have done. The area council actually started very slowly, as I said earlier. But currently, the rundown and any other thing that can be verifiable are there. The figures I have at my disposal in FCT, the project is usually being put as CDP, Community Development Plan, and if it is the group, it's called Group Development Plan. So when I say CDP, I'm not, or GDP, GDP is not any other acronym that you can think of, but this is the CSDP language. In Abaji, which is considered the poorest area council, the assessment there, we have 14 communities that have assessed our services, and they've been able to execute 31 projects. We call them micro projects. We have 7 groups, vulnerable groups, that have been approved and assessed our services and executed 15 micro projects. In AMAC, which came in just last year, have 14 communities also have assessed our project. So you can see that AMAC is so rapid with the expression of interest and having the 10%. And in the group development plan, that is the vulnerable group, we have 2 groups with 8 micro projects. The Buhari Area Council, we have 20 communities that have assessed our services and 5 vulnerable groups with 10 micro projects. In Gwagwalada Area Council, we have 14 communities with 30 micro projects and 4 vulnerable groups with 8 micro projects. Kuje has the highest I didn't actually know that if the people who earlier assessed our intervention went on campaigning to other communities, and as they saw it, people just came in tremendously. And we have 27 communities that have assessed our intervention with 5 vulnerable groups. Kwale Area Council, we have 21 communities and 9 vulnerable groups. The communities have executed 46 micro projects, and the vulnerable groups have also executed 20 micro projects. In total, we have 144 community stroke groups with 310 micro projects so far. So we have 110 CDPs, that community development plan, and 34 group development plans. And this micro project spreads among the various sectors that I've mentioned. That is in water, which is the highest, health centers, school, roads, culverts, environment. We have a housing program too, community housing. We have one, unlike the Northeast where you have the IDPs. They have the highest number of community housing. But in FCT, we have been able to have one. That is the leprosy colony in Yangoji Kroko in Kwale Area Council. During the ARFI regime, the location was actually established where the, okay, hello? Okay. Okay, I see, okay. We were able to pay 10% of, okay. This is one of the questions. We were able to pay 10% of what? Somebody's making the call. Let me cancel the call. To be able, okay. We are able to pay 10% of what a community is expected to pay, but yet the project wasn't carried out in the said village. I don't know which village. The issue is that you don't pay 10%. Nuku. One is that you didn't pay the 10% to us, and the 10% is in your account, and we give priority to communities as they come. If community A came, we have been able to do PRA and all the conditional fulfilled. We have to first do the community A before going to community B. And because we have a budget, it's not every community that we're able to do, to intervene. So it has to come. In FCT, we follow community by community as you come. If community A came before B, we have to intervene. And if our budget is exhausted, we have to wait for the approval of the next budget. So there are so many communities that have come. They will tell us we have contributed 800, we have contributed 900, we have done that, we have done that. Yes, some of them who have not even gone for PRA, they are now anxious when they've seen projects in other communities. That's now they're coming, and they will tell us that, yes, we have 10% in our account, we have done that, and we'll do. And we're also bound by a budget. Every year, the World Bank has to approve a certain budget, certain number of communities, and we cannot go beyond that. So any communities that we have not reached, it's not our making, but the budget constraint. And we also give fair treatment to all communities and groups. If you are coming, you cannot do a shortcut that cross another community, because all communities have the same problem. But there are situations where if in an area council that A, B, C are there, and B needs water, and possibly they are so isolated, they need a school that has been established without classes, and these are their two projects. And they have another community, A, that came before B, and they are closer to the township, and they are looking for a town hall. In that kind of judgment, we have to pass community A, because their own is not much a problem. They are looking for luxury. That's why they are looking for a town hall. But we have to go to where there's no water, they have a school, but no classes, or the classes are dilapidated, that during rain, they cannot be in the class. There are so many communities who intervene like that. When rain is about to fall, the children have to pack their books home. So we have intervened in such kind of communities. That is where we may jump from A that came before B to do that. And when we have enough budget, we do all. So any community that has their 10%, we have not intervened, we are constrained by budget, and we do our own fair hearing to spread the project among the 6 area councils, and we do first come and first serve. But in the situation where the gravity of B is more than A, we may jump A and go to B. So I think that is about that. So we have 34 group development plans that we have, intervened in the Federal Capital Territory. And I think all these people are doing well. We have done a lot. We are just about finishing, we are just at the end of finishing, executing, providing money for the community and the group to execute their projects as we are about to end. Okay. Hello?
Hello. Good afternoon again, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
I'm calling you from AMAC.
Okay.
Yes, you have been talking about vulnerable groups in terms of selection.
Yeah.
For the project, I wanted to find out what criteria you use to identify groups as vulnerable for them to be able to qualify for assistance in this area.
Okay. Usually, there's a checklist sent from the World Bank. The categories of the vulnerable. You have widows, people with physical challenge, and all that and that. These are people actually they are, vulnerable. So we have our checklist. And such groups must have in existence, do one or two things. When they hear about us, they apply. We have so many EOIs from vulnerable groups. And some of them even have their state association and the rest. So those who are in need of our services, apply. Because one, we don't go to identify. The beneficiaries identify themselves to us that they need our services after having heard about us. So they will apply. We go there for assessment. We have the gender and vulnerable project officer who has been well trained, who will go and meet with them, and we conduct what we call GPRA, group project, PRA. So we go. So it is the group that actually come to us after having heard about us, and they know that they're vulnerable, we have intervened. And as you are calling in AMAC, we have 4 vulnerable groups that we have intervened, and I think all of them are widows group. We have in Karu, we have in Jikwe, we have in Jiwa, in Karishi. They are all verifiable that you can go and see. And in Jiwa, they have skill acquisition center and motorized borehole. I think they are already learning. If you go to Karishi, they have the same skills acquisition center and motorized borehole. And we don't only build, we also equip. So we don't give money for the structure. We also include equipping such skills acquisition centers. In Jikoi and Karuwidos, I think they have built lock-up stores, open stores, motorized borehole, which is a socio-economic intervention. So all those ones are there. So yeah, hello? Okay. Okay. Hello, this is Ali Ismaila, Facebook. I have seen such projects in Karamu, in Amak. It is a laudable development. Thank you for the compliment. Another one, is there a website where we can access more information about sales? Yes, go to just Google CSDP Nigeria. You'll see a lot about us. And from there, you can go down to the various states. Wherever state you are, you can always see us. And if you want to send an mail to us, you can look at fctcsdp@gmail.com. We'll be able to receive your destiny. I will be able to respond to you. And I say, well done, sir, with all your work in the FCT. The kind of position requires emphatic leadership, and God bless you. Thank you very much. Sir, the website is www.csdpnigeria.org. If you want there, you're asking, the www.csdpnigeria.org. That is the website of CSDP Nigeria. www.csdpnigeria.org. Okay, so as I've explained, the person that asked question about AMAC, you can always go there. There are so many rural communities that actually have been, disconnected with others, especially in the rural areas. I went to some specific communities. During the rural areas, they cannot come out with their vehicles because the water. Some of them even put their vehicles on stones during the dry season. And I think we have connected such villages. I can give you specifically some of those communities that are very verifiable. If you go to Gwagwalada, I can give you a case of a community called Wimi after Dobi. During the rainy season, their vehicles are on stones because of the bridge. That bridge has been constructed since last year. They can now go out all the seasons. You can go to Bwari Area Council, like Tokulu. There are two streams that come where, join together, where they're crossing. In that in that place, actually something very beautiful was done. The money to construct that bridge was more than our envelope. That is the CSDP envelope of highest 10 million. So the area council chairman came in that he was ready, even from his pocket, to augment the remaining money. So the committee assessed about 8-point-something million. With their 10%, it was about 9-point-something million. And the chairman provided 7.5 million. And that bridge there is there. The community can now cross all weather. In fact, the chairman of the area council never knew his bound. And he expressed his delight as a chairman. He said he never knew what to do about that bridge. But with about 9-point-something and 7.5, the bridge was constructed. And if you go there today, I guarantee you absolutely you think we spent over 70 million to do that, for the community to do that bridge. So that's what we gave the community, and they'll be able to. And another example, if you go to Kuje, there's a community called Godeji. It's certainly about 5 minutes to Kuje town. But during the rainy season, those people cannot come in. And when the practice manager from the World Bank visited Nigeria, I think it's one of the projects she visited. So they couldn't cross. And they say women have even died when they are on labor to come out to a clinic or hospital in Kuje. You see they cannot cross, and you see some, yeah. Okay. So in FCT, we have done that. And we have some monitoring and evaluation reports that we've done. From those kinds of reports, in education, you see there's an increased access of community in educational facilities, increase of about 28% in boys, 33% in girls. And when you go, increase of 40% of boys and 16% of girls, vulnerable girls and boys. And when you go to health, you see that increase in access to communities in basic health facilities. And we recorded 31.64% for boys and 7.7% for girls. And when you go to power, although we had problem with disco, but it's over now. So communities are getting. We have even communities that we funded solar power for them because they are very far from national grid, and our money cannot do that. So we funded solar power. Okay. So one is time is against us. I cannot continue, and maybe we'll meet another time. You can always meet us in our office in Utako, number 4 Okonja Wali Way. Utako, Abuja, FCT, CSDP, you are welcome. And I will say thank you to my Honorable Minister for giving us the opportunity to serve the rural poor. And my supervisor, the Director of Economic Planning, who has always been on our toes to make sure that we provide the needed services to the rural poor. So until we meet again, I will say goodbye.
This is our government too.
See, we don't even know what is happening at all. Everything is just black. I want to know what is happening. Do you want to know what your government is doing?
Yeah!
Are you curious and want to know about programs, events, and activities being organized by your leaders?
Yeah!
Do you believe that your voice should be heard?
Yeah!
Then look no further. Have Your Say is the foremost interactive program that provides the missing link between citizens and the executive of the legislative arms of government, heads of parastatals, ministries, departments, and agencies. This show gives you the power to speak your mind, ask daring questions, contribute to the discussions, provide analysis, and demand for the truth. To be a part of our show, subscribe to our YouTube channel at HIA Nigeria. That is at HIYA Nigeria. And follow us on all our social media platforms at HIA Nigeria. That is at HIYA Nigeria. Have your say. We want to hear from you. Your opinion matters.